Assalamualaikum and very good morning, everyone. I now call the webinar to order. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berusaha Mr. Ahmad Khairuddin bin Abdul Rahim, Deputy Chief Executive Officer 2, Chief Information Officer, Malaysian Investment Development Authority. Good morning, Mr. Khairuddin. Yang berusaha Ms. Sarojini Ganesan, Deputy Director, Advanced Technology and Research and Development Division, MIDA. Yang berusaha Engineer Rohaizat Omar, Head SIRIM Industrial Research, SIRIM Berhad. Yang berusaha Mr. Christopher Yap, Managing Director of Business Banking and Bank Group. Yang berusaha Technologist Professional Ms. Zainab Ahmad, Director General, Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education, or DPCCE, Chief Executive Officers, Heads of Departments, officials from ministries and agencies, consultants, officials from industry associations and chambers of commerce, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, and welcome to the Domestic Webinar Series 1 2020-2021, brought to you by Malaysian Investment Development Authority, or MIDA in short. Thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate your presence with us this morning despite your busy schedule. I am Zainun from Malaysia Productivity Corporation, MPC, your moderator for this morning's webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Domestic Investment Webinar Series, the first for 2021, is the first one to be held virtually this year, as it has always been organized physically in previous years. With the theme Innovation and the Transition to New Business Models, the webinar is organized to update participants on the need of implementing digital value for business resilience, especially in the post-COVID era, post-COVID-19 era. The focus of this discussion will be on assisting businesses to shift from old conventional growth models and build new growth through adoption of digital system. This webinar is estimated to take about 1 hour and 15 minutes with 4 paper presentations, offering a full spectrum of topics from incentives, readiness assessment in relation to industry forward, financial support, and human capital that are necessary to support the digital transformation. To start with, let me read out a brief background of our guest of honor today, Mr. Ahmad Khairuddin, who will be delivering his opening and keynote address. Mr. Ahmad? Okay, yang berusaha Mr. Ahmad Khairuddin bin Abdul Rahim is currently the Deputy Chief Executive Deputy Chief Executive Officer 2, Chief Information Officer, or CIO, of the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, or MIDA. He has been with MIDA since 1991. Similar, like myself, I've joined MPC since 1991 as well. Mr. Khairuddin, a holder of Master's degree in International Business, his 30 years experience in MIDA had given him the opportunity to serve several divisions and portfolios, not only locally, but also internationally, where Mr. Khairuddin had served MIDA London as well as Sydney. Okay. Currently, Mr. Khairuddin's portfolio covers 11 divisions, namely chemical and advanced materials, 11 of them. So I think I just shorten it, Okay. I know I'm not doing justice to this illustrious background of Mr. Khairuddin, but I do not wish to keep our audience waiting much longer to listen to your address, So I think without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to invite Yang Berusaha Mr. Ahmad Khairuddin Abdul Rahim, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, to become the Chief Information Officer of MIDA. to deliver his opening and keynote address. Mr. Khairuddin, over to you. Thank you.
Datin Zainun Bakar, Deputy DG NPC. Okay. Technologist professional Zainab Ahmad, DG Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education, DPCCE. Mr. Christopher Yap, MD of Business Banking and Bank Group. Engineer Rohaiza Omar, Head Sirim Industrial Research, Sirim Berhad. Panel speakers, fellow colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone who is joining us today. I'm pleased to present here at the first Domestic Investment Seminar Series for 2021. It is encouraging to see significant representation from the business community for this session, and I am confident that you will gain much insight today. As many of you know, the domestic investment seminar sessions in the previous years were held physically at MIDA headquarters in Kuala Lumpur or the States. However, due to current health precautions, we are taking up the digital approach to continue engaging virtually for the benefit of all our stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic forces businesses from retail, manufacturing, and services providers to evaluate their business models from the traditional in-person and social settings. Businesses are realizing the need to incorporate a significant portion of business processes with an innovative or contactless delivery of products and services. Companies are exploring new strategies to overcome the current crisis and similar future situations. Moreover, when it comes to the domestic players adapting to the COVID-19 crisis, the government gave equal importance in support, especially the SMEs, to weather the storm. We understand that the domestic and SMEs in the manufacturing and manufacturing-related services sectors play a vital role in building the nation's industry ecosystem. In assisting the homegrown players, the government provides unprecedented support at a larger scale than in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis in the form of tax deferrals, direct loans, and grants to manage temporary redundancies, as well as wage subsidies to cover reduced working hours. However, it's timely for SMEs to realize that these are only temporary measures. They have no choice but to adapt to the digital transformation for survival to stay competitive and relevant. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 19th of February, Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister launched the My Digital, which is the country's digital economy blueprint. The 10-year roadmap in 3 phases aims to transform Malaysia into a digitally driven, high-income nation and regional leader in the digital economy. Without any doubt, digitalization has proven to benefit companies in their daily business management. Digitalization and digital tools can help companies reduce costs, standardize and automate business processes, as well as reduce the reliance on manpower. Moreover, going digital will enhance company competitiveness and understand consumer behaviors. Domestic players should strive in global manufacturing processes, given the rapid technological advancement in every business field. In this regard, Malaysia's Industry Forward policy, as well we call it Industry 4.0, is an excellent guide. This incentive of Industry Forward readiness assessment and its subsequent intervention fund offered by the government enable domestic companies to first, to assess their capabilities and readiness to adopt Industry 4.0 processes, Second, understand their present capabilities and gaps. And thirdly, prepare feasible plans to move towards effective adoption of Industry 4.0. This represents the first step for companies in Malaysia to align with the rapidly changing technological landscape while developing new growth areas by prioritizing operational efficiency and resilience through digital and automation technologies. Companies, especially SMEs, should begin to adopt smart manufacturing systematically and comprehensively. Ladies and gentlemen, through MIDA, the government plays a significant role in helping the local companies, especially SMEs, to realize the importance of digitalization for economic growth, job creation, and productivity. However, there's a gap in digital tools adoption between large businesses and SMEs. The government can address this gap or shortcomings by offering SMEs skill development, organizational change, and process innovation programs. The first response is to embracing automation. I repeat, the first response is to embracing automation. Automation will help companies address the most pressing issues concerning businesses, including productivity, labor costs, product quality, traceability, and safety. The Automation Capital Allowance introduced in the budget 2015 is a major incentive program to motivate domestic companies to undertake automation and machine upgrading, especially for companies in labor-intensive industries such as rubber products, plastic, wood, furniture, and textile to enjoy income tax deduction over the purchase of automation assets. Other industries that benefited include fabricated metal products, electrical electronic products, food manufacturing, and transport equipment. The Smart Automation Grant, SAG, initiative is part of the 1 million ringgit allocation approved within the National Economic Recovery Plan, or PENJANA, launched by the Senior Minister and Minister of International Trade and Industry MITI on 2nd December 2020. This grant will be awarded to eligible SMEs and MTCs on a matching basis of 50% of total eligible expenditure, up to a maximum grant cap of 1 million ringgit per company. It's very popular grant. Please grab this, yeah? SAG will not only improve Malaysia's industrial competitiveness and capabilities, but also reduce our reliance on low-skilled foreign workers while creating new job opportunities in high value-added sectors. The second crucial factor is to focus on skill, talent, and upskilling. This is indeed a critical enabler to drive and sustain Malaysia's economic growth. The availability of a skilled workforce will support the transition of all economic sectors towards knowledge-intensive activities. Every year, the number of manufacturing projects approved by MIDA continues to increase, and with it, the demand for skilled workers and professionals. Therefore, industry-led industry training for the development of local skilled workforce and industry academia cooperation is required to ensure that the offerings are in line with the industry demand. According to the National Study on Human Capital, it has projected that Malaysia will need 8 million science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM, STEM, workers by 2050. Most of these positions are under the managerial, supervisory, and technical category that requires a qualification in science and technical, S&T. As such, the availability of the S&T workforce is crucial in retaining and expanding the inflow of investment to Malaysia. To achieve this, MIDA, through the Industry Talent Management and Expert Division, involves actively in the initiatives undertaken by relevant institutions such as the Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Youth and Sport, and Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA under the Ministry of Rural Development in promoting the importance of having STEM workforce and also implementing effective measures in igniting the interest in these fields to create adequate supply of skilled workers as demanded by the industries. The third response is through innovation. I repeat, the third response is through innovation. Innovation is the game changer that will enable businesses to continue deliver new products and services to the customers. A company that builds a culture of innovation will become more efficient, competitive, and sustainable. Local companies are encouraged to intensify innovation through R&D activities to exploit new opportunities and bring local creative outputs to the market. MIDA has also introduced Lighthouse Project in enabling MNCs and local corporations that have successfully gained from Industry 4.0 transformation to guide and support Malaysia's local manufacturing industries, as well as manufacturing-related industries to also implement the fourth industrial revolution processes in gaining business traction. As Malaysia aims to reposition among the top global manufacturing nations, MIDA continues to identify and attract foreign and local companies that have successfully adopted the Industry 4.0 key pillars to invest here. The MNCs will then be encouraged with dedicated facilitation to establish linkages and develop local vendor development programs in leading the local companies to take actionable steps to advance into Industry 4.0. On MIDA's part, on our part, we have launched enhanced online modules, namely the e-manufacturing license, EML, e-incentive and import duty and sales tax exemption application system to accelerate the necessary approvals for companies to expedite the execution of projects and continued operations. Efforts to assist investors are heightened by establishing the Project Acceleration and Coordination Unit Part 2 in MIDA to facilitate approval processes, including from state authorities and utility agencies, to speed up the implementation of approved manufacturing projects. These are part of our continuous facilitation in guiding industry potentials and assistance to domestic companies in pre- and post-project implementation issues, talent needs, sourcing of raw local components, and engineering supporting industries. Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, domestic SMEs should step up to embrace digitalization by benefiting the facilitation provided by the government. MIDA wish to reach out to SME players to utilize this challenging period to adopt best technology practices to improve their competitiveness and capabilities to reap economic benefits by moving up the value chain. The government, through MITI and its agencies, has been undertaking various outreach efforts to enhance the capacity building of the local industry players. However, there is still a lack of awareness, especially on the assistance options available to companies. Hence, today's webinar serves as an excellent platform for participants to gain first-hand information on government's latest policies and facilities. I hope all of you will gain valuable insights from the briefings on automation technology, talent development, and funding assistance, which are pertinent in developing your business competencies. On that note, thank you and have a very good day ahead and stay safe. Kita jaga kita. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Mr. Khairuddin. The address definitely highlight the strong message that you sent out here is about the transformation towards digitalization for Malaysian businesses. Mr. Khairuddin, thank you very much for the opening address. Ladies and gentlemen, as had been mentioned by Mr. Khairuddin, the COVID-19 pandemic is unprecedented in its global reach and impact. It is evident that after a year, not only people are suffering, but from this tragedy, economies around the world has also been affected. Okay, in coherence with what had been mentioned by Mr. Khairuddin in his address earlier, I would like to quote here, the World Economic Forum in its latest publication, the Global Competitiveness Report 2020, GCR 2020, where it highlighted the focus for businesses in its journey towards transformation, digital transformation. It says in the report, companies are required to revive and transform the enabling environment. Secondly, revive and transform human capital. Thirdly, revive and transform the market. And lastly, revive and transform the innovation ecosystem. Well, this is actually referring to the economies of the world. This is also applicable to organizations. To me, this is very, very important and very apt that this webinar today is very aptly organized and very timely because as we know, we have the strong support from the government. Way back in 2018, the government have launched the National Policy on Industry 4.0 with the objective of transforming the Malaysian manufacturing industry and its related services to be smart, systematic, and resilient. And for that, this morning, we will have a speaker brought especially for today's session to speak about this Industry 4.0. And as mentioned by Mr. Khairuddin, just last Friday, the Honorable Prime Minister, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, launched the My Digital Blueprint. And as I said, this webinar is very aptly, and it is very, the timing is just perfect. With the My Digital Blueprint and what it entails is still fresh in our mind. The webinar today brings to the audience 4 distinguished speakers that will share with you relevant information that will assist businesses in implementing digital value for business resilience, especially in the post-COVID-19 era. For information, ladies and gentlemen, the speakers will be given approximately 15 minutes each to speak, and the question and answer session will only be held after all presentations have been made, have been delivered by all the 4 speakers. And participants or audience to the webinar today are welcome to post your questions in the chat box of questions and answer box in the system itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to proceed without further ado or further delay. Our first speaker today is Ms. Sarojini Ganesan, the Deputy Director of Advanced Technology and Research and Development Division in Malaysian Investment Development Authority, MIDA. Before I hand over the session to Ms. Sarojini, I would like to brief the audience here a little bit about Ms. Ganesan. She has 13 years experience with MIDA, serving in various divisions, including industry division and foreign investment promotion. She holds a Bachelor of Economics from University Putra Malaysia, and her responsibilities include planning and overseeing the development of strategic roadmap and ecosystem for new and emerging technology in Malaysia, including smart manufacturing and Industry 4.0, facilitating planning and implementation of investment promotion strategies and initiatives to encourage potential investors and coordinating industrial research and study. So with that, let us listen to Ms. Sarojini with a presentation on investment incentives related to Industry Forward. What has MIDA to offer the businesses? Now, let's welcome Ms. Sarojini. Thank you. Please.
Okay, I will talk a bit on the Industry Forward Intervention Fund, on the Domestic Investment Strategy Fund, we call it as short form as DISF, and Industry Forward DISF. I will explain what is the differences. And then I will talk about Automation Capital Allowances, and also MIDA Smart Automation Grant, which is we have already uploaded into our website last week. So I will update on these 4 grants and incentive basically. Okay, the Industry Forward Intervention Fund is a financial support facilitation for the SMEs, which is in the manufacturing and related services sectors, moving forward into Industry 4.0. And this is a fund which has been given by the government for those SME companies who have already undertaken the readiness assessment. And this fund is a matching grant of 70-30 and is a reimbursement basis with the maximum expenditure eligible of 500,000. So the 70% will be subsidized by the government and the 30% will be borne by the company. From the 70% which will be subsidized by the government, 30% will be given as in upfront to the company. Okay, and what are the things which is the company need to be eligible for to apply this grant? All right, they must be manufacturing or manufacturing related services companies, and they must be into the compilations of the SMEs, which is the readiness assessment is one of the eligible criteria under that. And they must be in operation for at least 3 years, and they have a valid business license, and they have completed their RA. All right, so upon receiving your readiness assessment report, you can submit the application for intervention fund to MIDA. So we will bring your application with the complete information to the Intervention Fund Approval Committee. And upon receiving the approval, MIDA will send an approval letter together with a grant agreement to the company. So the company will be given a time period to sign the agreement with us. Upon receiving back the signed and stamped grant agreement, the company will receive the 30% upfront, and you start to implement your project. As once you have completed, you come back to MIDA to claim for the 40%. So when you claim to MIDA for the balance 40%, we will do an audit visit together with the assessor that have already did the RA for your company. So we will visit the invoices. We will visit. We will check the documents, including visiting the plant and also checking all the invoices, the payment vouchers, and any other related documents. From that, we will bring your application of claim to the JPPG grant meeting in MIDA. upon receiving the approval from the meeting, the company will receive the remaining grant from MIDA. All right, this is a table where you can actually see it was stated there that the application submitted to MIDA should not be more than 2 months from the date approval received from MPC. But due to the current situation, we still accept companies to submit the application to MIDA as long as the fund is still there to be given to the company. So for those companies who have already received the RA report 2-3 months ago, but you have not submitted, if you feel that you have already exceeded the 2 months, do not worry. You can still send in the application to us and we will look into the application. All right. And the grant agreement, you have to sign with MIDA not more than 30 days from the approval date letter given by MIDA. And the last submission for intervention fund is on the 31st December 2021. Okay, when you apply the intervention fund to MIDA, the expenditure will be based on the RA report. Basically, sometimes it could not be exactly the same, but if it's a similarity to the recommendation, and if we find this is what the assessors also agree that the company needs to do, then we will approve for the company. All right, but make sure the expenditure which is not eligible do not apply is the purchase or rental of the land, building, vehicles, and furnitures, your renovation or loan, promotion activities, and then your OPEX, such as salary, employee benefits, traveling expenditure, and expenditure on R&D activities or working capital not related to the project. All right. And when you submit to us, please make sure there is an application form attached, your readiness assessment report, your technical proposal. All right. What is in your technical proposal is more on the project description, the scope of your project, the duration of your project, the method, which this is where your solution provider will assist you, the source of technology, expected deliverables, and breakdown of the expenditure. And make sure to attach together your latest financial statement audited for the past 3 years and the manufacturing license. And also, if you don't have a manufacturing license, a confirmation letter for exemptions from manufacturing license. In case if you don't have both, but you can still apply for manufacturing license with MIDA. Say, for example, if you have your workers more than 75 workers, or your paid up capital is more than 2.5 million, you are eligible to apply for manufacturing license. So you need to apply for manufacturing license with MIDA first before you apply for intervention fund application. You submit in the application. Or in case if you're not eligible for manufacturing license, you still need to apply for the confirmation letter for exemptions from manufacturing license from MIDA. It's a letter, but to prove that you are a manufacturer. All right. Okay. This is some of the list that we have created on do's and don'ts when you apply intervention fund application with MIDA. So this is based on the applications that we received from companies and we approve for the companies. So we would like to highlight this. Please have a look at this slide later. So please register with BizForward, where you can engage and source your technology. And please look for the local solution providers. It's very important for you to indicate who are your solution providers. All right. And then make sure if, say, for example, you're a company and you have few companies and we will look into your shareholder structure. So one company within a group of related companies may be granted for intervention fund, subject that the amount granted to the group not exceed 1 million. So that means, for example, if you have 3 subsidiary into one group, so all the 3 companies will accumulate 1 million only, not more than that. it can be given like 300,000, 300,000, 300,000, for example, but it could not exceed 1 million. And then please follow the readiness assessment report recommendations, and make sure that at least one of the element of 4.0 is included in your technical proposal. You need to also list down the grants or incentive that you have currently enjoyed, if any. For example, if you have enjoyed any grants from MDEC, from maybe from Matrade or from SME Corp, please indicate that in the form. All right. And when you submit the application to us, make sure you also attach together a diagram of the existing production line with the proposed additional features of hardware or software, and diagrams with whatever that you are proposing for the new project. So that should be indicated in the diagram. All right. And don'ts, that means this is not eligible, basically. Solution providers or system integrator, which is included the cost of accommodation, transportation, professional fees, is not eligible. And then simple automation is not allowed. That means it should be have at least one or two integrated elements of smart systems, solutions, and connectivity. And then the grant is not meant for the same project. It's a mutually exclusive grant and it's only for one project. And other costs such as basic ERP on accounts, finance, HR management, smart TVs, IT infrastructure, and networking is not considered, it's not eligible. So when you look at these all costs, it will not be granted by the committee, basically. Moving forward into the industry forward DISF, which was introduced last 2019. It's to assist those companies who have undertaken the readiness assessment. It's a 60-40 matching grant. 60% will be subsidized by the government and 40% will be borne by the company. Under the Industry Forward DISF, there is 5 different categories of grant. The R&D grant, the training grant, the modernization and upgrading facilities equipment grant, purchasing of a new technology or licensing, and obtaining international standards and certification. And all these expenditure must be related to Industry 4.0 and also in line with the recommendations of the readiness assessment. Most companies will not request for all the grants because there are certain companies who does not require for certifications or for license. It depends on the industry. Most probably that those companies who are involved in the aerospace industry or the medical device industry, they will look forward for the purchasing of technology or the certifications. But other companies, most probably they only refer to the training grants or modernization grants. So you come forward to us with an project, a business proposal which is related to your company's activity and your plans. All right, this is the grants that are available under the DISF. And the priority sectors that we are looking forward is the under the RMK 11 previously, the aerospace, medical devices, pharmaceuticals, advanced electronics, machines and equipments, and other industry case-by-case basis. All right, we are also expanding the scope for the services sectors, which is, you can see in the screen as well. All right, the main condition for Industry Forward DISF is the company must adopt at least one of the following 11 Industry 4.0 technology pillar. So when you do the proposal to us, we will look detail what are the element of 4.0 which is included in your project. All right. Automation capital allowances, it's not something was introduced in for Industry 4.0, but it could be related. It's something been introduced late in 2015, all right? And it is to encourage the manufacturing companies to adopt the automation, specifically for the labor-intensive industry, and to also to enhance their productivity in the manufacturing sector. For the automation capital allowances, we are collaborating with SIRI, where the non-technical part will be done by MIDA, where the technical part will be done by SIRI. So SIRI will be looking into few technical verification based on your submission, such as a reduction in the number of workers, a reduction in the man hours, increase of your production volume, quality improvement, and other factors related to whatever that you're applying for. There are two categories of the incentive. It's an incentive, yeah, it's not a grant, all right? It's an incentive. So for if you fall under the first category, labor intensive industry, such as the rubber products, plastic products, wood, furniture, and textiles product, the automation capital allowances of, you can get the exemptions of automation capital allowances of 200% on the first 4 million expenditure incurred within 8 years of the assessment from 2015 to 2023. And if you fall under the second category, under other industry, the fabrication metal products, E&E products, chemical products, transport equipment, food products, and others, you can explore for automation capital allowances of 200% on the first 2 million expenditure incurred within 8 years of the assessment from 2015 to 2023. All right. So who are the one who are eligible to apply this ACA is those manufacturing companies and who have a business license from local authority, and you have a manufacturing license or a confirmation letter of exemptions, and the company must be in operation for at least 36 months. Okay. Next. What are the criteria of automation machines and equipments that we are looking forward? It is used directly in the manufacturing floor, and it should be enhanced of productivity, and it can also adopt technologies which will be verified by our partner SIRI. And also the machine should be used at least 1 month after installation, and the machine should be in operation at least 3 months after the production of its first batch of the new product. All right, for those companies who's currently enjoying reinvestment allowances, all right, when you apply for ACA, you will stop enjoying the reinvestment allowances. So while you're enjoying the ACA, but the period of the reinvestment allowances will still continue. So when you finish enjoying your ACA, then you will continue back enjoying your reinvestment allowances, and the period will go on. So the period will not stop, but you will stop enjoying the readiness, the reinvestment allowances while you are enjoying for the ACA exemptions. Okay, this is the process flow. You submit the application to MIDA. MIDA receives the applications. If it's incomplete, we'll return back to the company. If it's complete, you're eligible, we will send you a letter and relevant documents to the SIRI. SIRI will look into your application. They will do a factory visit. They will submit a report of technical verification to MIDA, and MIDA will issue a consideration letter. That consideration letter, you can bring it to IRB to enjoy the incentive for exemptions. Okay. Next, this is MIDA Smart Automation Grant, which is introduced recently under the Penjana, and we just uploaded it into our website last week. Smart Automation Grant is given on a matching basis of eligible expenditure up to maximum grant of 1 million per company, and the objective is definitely to assist the local SMEs and MTCs, all right, the mid-tier companies, to automate and digitalize their operation, production, and trade channels, and also definitely to reduce the reliance of the low-skilled foreign workers, which also will increase their SMEs' competitiveness on the international level, and also to improve their efficiencies in manufacturing and services sector, as well as create new job opportunities with high value sectors, and also align with the national policy of Industry 4.0. Okay, how does this grant works, and who are the people who are eligible, companies who are eligible? The company has been in operation for at least 12 months. You have incorporated under the Companies Act 1965. Your equity ownership of at least 51% owned by Malaysian, and you have a business license from the local authority. You are engaged in the manufacturing or services activity. And what is the definition of the SMEs that we are looking forward here is for those manufacturing companies, your SMEs, your sales turnover not exceeding 50 million or your employees not exceeding 200. And those SMEs under the services, sales turnover not exceeding 20 million or employees not exceeding 75. For those mid-tier companies, your sales turnover from 50 million to 500 million. And for services sectors under the mid-tier companies, your sales turnover from 20 million to 500 million. All right. The eligible expenditures to the automation, machines, equipment, software that are used directly in the overall value chain of the manufacturing and services activities. All right, there's one long list of non-eligible expenditure, like for example, the rental for the land, your wages paid for the employees, insurance, utility, R&D expenses is not eligible for this grant. All right, and this list might change, or we might add on depends on when we receive the applications, when we look into detail how which one we can reduce and which one we can consider, which one we need to add on. We will revise this time to time. All right. The project duration must be completed within 12 months from the date of approval letter issued by MIDA. Any utilized grant amount after 12 months, we will withdraw back. And any request for extension is request to make to MIDA at least 2 months from the project end date. All right. When company apply for the SAG grant, they must also be committed to the deliverables. All right. They must at least have certain. They must have the reduction of the unskilled workers, the reduction in the man hour, the increase in production volume, quality improvement, reduction in defect rate, increase in service delivery, and also reduction of man hours in delivering services. And the company must only meet at least one of these project deliverables. It's not that you have to meet all these deliverables, at least one. All right. For the detail of how you apply to MIDA, it's all in our website. This is the flow chart that we actually uploaded that I will show you later, the link. All right. Okay, under the Smart Automation Grant, we are also, MIDA signed an MOU with few panel banks, and the banks have an acceleration program is to give those companies the knowledge on automation and digitalization. So for those companies who are successfully undergo this program, you may also submit the application to MIDA, and you can present the application to MIDA for approval. All right, this is for those companies who have not, do not have readiness assessment, and you don't know how to move forward. So this is like a free consultations given by the bank to this company, how you can move for your projects. They have a technical expertise too in the bank who can also advise you how you can move forward your project. All right, it's free, so you can also leverage on that program. And the application received by MIDA from 4th December to 31st of December 2021 are eligible to be considered for this grant. So what you have to submit to us is the application form, the latest financial statement, SSM, company profile, a copy of your business license, a manufacturing license, and also for those company under the services, you have to submit to us a license or a letter from the relevant ministry or agency that govern the activities. All right, this SAG grant, when you submit to MIDA, we will look into it and we will invite you to come and present your proposal as a pitching session in MIDA. All right, so those eligible applicant will present your proposal to the grant committee, and once you receive your approval letter, you will sign an agreement with MIDA. And for those company that you that we award you the grant and you have purchased, say for example, you apply for a higher purchase from a financing panel bank. All right, so we will pay directly to the panel bank. Say for example, if you get an amount of 300,000, although the agreement is signed between MIDA and also the company, but you have you did a higher purchase from this panel bank, so we will pay directly to the panel bank the amount that that you're applying for. All right, and we will conduct an audit visit as usual, and the report of the audit findings we will bring it to our committee meeting. Once been approved by the committee, we will disperse the money to the company. For more information on the DISF SAG grant for ACA, please go to our website as stated here. So all the incentives we have already uploaded here. Have a look at it. Even for intervention fund, we have already have the process flow, the guideline, the form, the template. So please follow that. It's all in words. Fill in the words and send it to us. So if you have any doubt on how to go about it, who to submit the application, you are most welcome to email us and we will revert back to you. If you can't get us, you can always email to our division, Advanced Technology and R&D division, which our division is led by our director, Encik Nur Izam Ibrahim. So you can always call us or you can drop us an email if you want to know further on this incentive and grants. And these incentive and grants will be processed by the industry division. For example, if you are a company into the automotive sector and you are applying certain you're applying for intervention fund, so it will be processed by the Transport Technology Division. So we will engage you directly to the Transport Technology Division so that they will process accordingly. So we will sit in any of the meeting to assist how to go about on the technical proposal from the company. We will advise them based on whatever information that we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sarojini. I hope the sharing by Ms. Sarojini at length, she has discussed with us and shared with us the 4 funds available at MIDA. And I hope our audience today, businesses, our friends out there, are able to benefit from the sharing by Ms. Sarojini, as she has gone at very detailed at length, the eligibility criteria, the processes involved, the do's and don'ts under each category of the funds available at MIDA. For further information, if our audience or the participants here requires additional information with regards to the 4 funds or incentives provided, you can visit MIDA's website. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the second speaker. Yeah, we have with us Yang Peruska, Engineer Rohaizat Omar. Yeah, he will talk about industry forward readiness assessment in his presentation. But before I hand over the session to Engineer Rohaizat, allow me to read a little bit of the background of Engineer Rohaizat. Yeah? Engineer Haizat Omar joined Sirin Berhad in 2002 and his experience is in machine and system design and development, engineering consultancy, technology transfer, technology dissemination and assessment. He holds a Master of Engineering, Mechanical from University Technology, Malaysia, and is a professional engineer with practicing certificate under the Board of Engineers Malaysia. Engineer Haizat is actively involved in the precision machine design and development, vibration analysis, and finite element model updating. He has published articles in peer-reviewed index journals and conference proceedings. In the Industry Forward Readiness Assessment, Engineer Haizat is the lead assessor for Sirin Berhad, in which he has conducted and reviewed more than 100 assessment reports for the SMEs and LLCs from 2019 to 2021. As mentioned earlier, Engineer Haizat will talk about Industry Forward Readiness Assessment and how this initiative will assist organizations in its digital transformation journey. So with that, please welcome Yang Professor Engineer Haizat Omar, Head Sirin Industrial Research of Sirin Berhad. Please, Tuan Haizat.
Okay, thank you, Datin. I'll share first my presentation slide. Okay. All right. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all participants. Thank you, Datin Dainun, for the brief introduction of me. I'm here today to talk about Industry Forward Readiness Assessment. So let's move on. So this is a drawdown from the Industry Forward National Policy on Industry 4.0. Our National Policy on Industry 4.0 is branded as Industry Forward. So under this Industry Forward, we have a few strategy, which is acronym as FIRST, F-I-R-S-T. So on the readiness assessment is fall under regulatory or R, regulatory strategy. Number 2, which is to create a platform and mechanism to help industry ataupun manufacturing firm, especially at the SMEs, to assess and develop their Industry 4.0 capability. So the aim of Industry Forward readiness assessment is to first to assess, to provide indication of the level of readiness of the company, and then to find the gap, to identify the gap or area of improvement in each dimension of the criteria, and then to improve, which is for us to recommend further action to improve efficiency and productivity. And then as a whole will be a national baseline to be developed based on RA ataupun readiness assessment as we conducted to the SMEs. And then this is also the prerequisite as mentioned by Ms. Sarojini just now for any industry forward intervention fund in currently ongoing. Okay, this is on industry forward policy, what we have in industry forward policy. So focus on our topic here today is industry forward readiness assessment. So the objective of this program actually to get a comprehensive is a comprehensive program to help firm assess their capability and readiness to adopt Industry 4.0 technology and processes. So what is the outcome of the program? There is a few. First one is the state of readiness. We know the state of readiness in the operation of the Industry 4.0 technologies of the company, and then we know the gap and we know the area to improve for Industry 4.0 adoption, as well the opportunity for productivity improvement and growth. Okay, And then the last one is to develop the feasible strategy and plans, action plan to perform outcome-based intervention project. So this is the brief objective and the outcome of the program, Industrial Forward Readiness Assessment, or in short, we call it Industrial Forward RA. Okay, so this is the flow for the readiness assessment. For those who have go through the process, you will be familiar with the process. For those who haven't have a chance to get into the program, you have to be registered online. This is attached here is the website of MITI where you can register yourself or your company in this program, and then the registration will go through, or the application will go through the RA Technical or Steering Committee for the review, whether you are eligible for the for the government funded, or you have to self-funded yourself for the program. So after the review, MITI or MPC. MPC is the agency who handle the program, RA program. Will hand over the application or the company information to ABIS. ABIS is a assessment body or assessing body. So assessing body receiving the application from the MPC and do the on-site assessment. Okay. On-site assessment ni currently we have a few options. So the first option is a physical on-site assessment. Number 2 is a hybrid type of assessment where we can do physical and also online. And another type is a fully online assessment, which is an option for the assessor and also the company. And then after the on-site assessment, we have to come up with a report, RA report, and then the RA report will be endorsed by the committee, technical steering committee, at MITI level. And then after the endorsement, the MPC will inform the company on the assessment outcome, or email the assessment report, endorsed assessment report to the company. So this is a brief flow of the RA ataupun readiness assessment flow. Okay, let us focus on the on-site assessment now. What will happen on the on-site assessment? So there will be 2 days minimum, 2 days on-site assessment, whether it's online, physical, ataupun hybrid or fully online. So we will have an opening meeting on the first day, morning first day, and then we will have a plan walkabout, and then we have an interview session with personnel, key personnel, and also some documentation citing. And then we will draft the report and to present the preliminary findings to the company management, and then that's it on site assessment, end of on-site assessment, 2 days. Okay, this is the typical agenda. On the first day, we have meeting, opening meeting, and some presentation of a program and also Industry 4.0. And then we will have a presentation by company on the company profile and initiative on Industry 4.0. And then we have a walkabout, and then we start with the review on the business and operational performance. And then we continue with the process, technology and people. Here, technology, process and people. This is a shift factor of Industry 4.0. On the second day, typically if we able to finish the first day topic, so on the second day we will discuss on the pain point and the potential technology intervention as a proof of concept to be put in the report. And then we will continue with the preparation of preliminary finding, and then we will present the preliminary finding to the company management team, and then until the end of the day. Okay, so this is a typical on-site assessment agenda. Okay, we go straight to the criteria of industry forward readiness assessment. We have 3 shift factor. We call it shift factor on the inner ring of this wheel of criteria. So the 3 shift factor will be technology, process, and people. So if you look at the technology, we focus on the intelligence, connectivity, and also automation of the shop floor, facility, and also enterprise. So this is comprising of 50% of this readiness scoring of this program. So the second shift factor is a process, which we focus on the operation management, product management, and also supply chain management. So this is for manufacturing company. So the overall marking for this scoring for this shift factor is 30%. Whereas for people, we focus on the human capital development, number 1, and number 2 is a transformation initiative of the company. So this is 20% from the overall 100% mark scoring for the program. So we look here, we have 3 shift factor: people, process, technology, and then the middle ring will be we call it trust. Okay, we have 8 trust. People we have 2, technology we have 3, process we have 3 trust, and the outer ring will be called dimensions. So what we assess company is based on these 21 dimension, no exclusion. All 21 dimension will be assessed, will be interviewed. Okay, the information for all 21 dimension to be gained during our 2 days assessment on site. Okay, so this is a criteria. So we go one by one. This is for people. As I said just now, we have 2 trusts over here and 5 dimension. So this is the typical question ataupun information that we need, assessor need from the company on the transformation initiative. We talk about how the company transform itself. Do you have any industry 4.0 transformation plan? And then we would like to know how is the communication or information sharing performed within the company or external parties. External parties is meant by supplier and also your customers. Okay, for human capital development, we look on the competency of the personnel on industry 4.0 topic or elements. And then we would like to know, is there any training plan developed, and also any measurement on the training effectiveness had been measured or not. Okay, for human capital development, we have 2 dimension here. First one is on the personnel, on the people or staff of the company, and also the top management competency, or we call it top management technology savviness. Okay. Okay, this one is on people. Then we go to, okay, my slide not moving here. Okay, it's not moving now. Okay, this is example of dimension of leadership. Okay, so in our assessment, we have 5 band, starting from band 0 until 4. For this example on leadership, you will see on band 0, we call it unfamiliar, because the description says that the management is unfamiliar with the concept of 4th Industrial Revolution or Industry 4.0. So this one is on leadership, which have no idea on any idea on Industry 4.0. So the band, the scoring will be band 0. So if we look at the band 4 here, this is the highest band, flexible. The management can independently adapt and apply its organization transformation framework based on the changing needs and technology trend with a clear vision of Industry 4.0. Okay, so this we are looking for leadership that is maybe is agile enough to adapt Industry 4.0 to change accordingly to the current trend of information transformation of digital transformation. Okay, this is a leadership dimension, example of the band, and this one is on process. Shift at the process. We look on 3 thrusts: operation, product management, and supply chain management. We have 7 dimension. So this is a typical information that we need. On operation management, we look into the production process, how you manage your production, and secondly, we want to we are going to know ataupun inquire the how you manage your technology. So this technology is divided into 2. One is a product technology and the production technology. Okay, and then how you manage your performance ataupun operation performance, how you manage it. Okay, this is on the operation management. Secondly is on the product management. We would like to know your product life cycle management. And another one is we would like to know whether your production machine can allow product individualization or mass customization. So this is on a product management. The last one is a supply chain management. Is about a horizontal integration between one company to the supplier and with the customer. How you interact or exchange data or communicate in terms of horizontal integration. And then lastly, we want to know, does the company have a cyber security policy? This is very important on Industry 4.0 aspect. Whether you like it or not, there will be cyber security issue later on if you want to adopt Industry 4.0. Okay, so this is an example of production management dimension. We will look into the production process, whether if you look at the band 1 here, unstructured, which means that production processes are done manually. So you don't have any machine equipment, you properly do by hands. Okay, this one is band 0. Band 2, we have dedicated, which means dedicated machine or equipment are allocated. And then we look into the manufacturing and also quality parameter are controlled. So this is the criteria that we're looking for. For example, last one is flexible. So we are looking for the manufacturing cell or line that are capable to utilizing any machine for continuous production. This one, we are looking into the flexible manufacturing system that are highly automated and then fully integrated at the shop floor level and also enterprise level. Enterprise, which means your business process level. Okay. All right. This is an example of production management dimension. Next, we go to the technology. As mentioned before, technology, we have 3 thrusts. We are looking into the automation, asset automation, asset connectivity, and asset intelligence. So all these thrusts will be looking at 3 different levels. One is the shop floor level, where your production process is carried out. And then your facility, which ever facility asset that's supporting your shop floor. Okay, and then we have enterprise level here, where you carry out your business process operation, such as your financial management, HR management, customer relationship, and etc. Okay, this is what we are looking on automation. Machine system use to carry out the process at shop floor, facility, enterprise. Whereas on the connectivity trust, we look whether your machine or system connected to the other machine or system at the shop floor, facility, or enterprise. So this one is on connectivity. Whereas the intelligence part is a decision-making part. Does the machine, a shop floor, facility, or enterprise achieve cyber physical level 1, level 2, or level 3? So level 1, we look into the diagnostic capability. Level 2, we look on the prediction, whether your machine can predict whatever in the future. For level 3, we look into the flexibility or adaptation of machine or system. Okay, so this is technology. So this is an example of intelligence. Band 0, which is shop floor asset or machine or system are not on any electronic or digital system. So this one will be read as band 0, computerized. You have pre-programmed logic. You have your PLC, CNC in place, computerized. And then this one is cyber physical level 1. Your machine or your system can identify and notify critical problem and inform possible causes. Okay, this is the diagnostic capability of machine or system. So band 3, we have a predictive capability, can predict and notify critical problem. And then number 4, the highest one is adaptive, can independently execute decision without human intervention to optimize performance and resource efficiently. Okay, so this one is the example for shop floor intelligent dimension. Okay, so go back to the
Pak Faizan,
yes.
You have 2 more minutes to go.
Okay, all right. Okay, we have a scoring here. This is a readiness profile of this scoring, where we have a conventional 0 to 20, newcomer 21 to 40, and then the highest one is a leader 91 and above. Okay, mostly SME or LLC will fall under newcomer or leader. So a few of the LLC is in experience profile. Okay, currently. Okay, we go to the report structure. What you expect in the report? We will have this all this information, company profile, finding and recommendation for all 21 dimension, and then we have a shift factor improvement plan and also proposed action plan. So this one is required by funding ataupun MIDA, which MIDA will look at into this proposed action plan proposed by the assessor. Okay, so this is example snapshot of example of the company, actual scoring of the company. So we have 5 on people, 11% on process, and also 11% on technology. So the total score is 27. So 27 will fall under newcomers. Okay, newcomers readiness profile. And then this is a snapshot of the finding. Okay, if you look at the picture below this slide, this is what we need during the assessment, on-site assessment. We have you need a space, a meeting room, example, to discuss or to conduct the interview session. If you need us to wear some PPE, yes, we would like to we have to wear the PPE to conduct the walkabout. and also to discuss on the required personnel or key personnel on the production process or the production floor. Okay, I think that's all for me. Datin Zainon, I stop sharing now. Back to you.
Thank you, Engineer Haizat.
Yeah.
Thank you for your elaborate presentation on readiness assessment under the Industry Forward. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you have actually benefited from the session by Engineer Haizat earlier. Yeah, he has shared with us how the assessment is being carried out and the dimensions involved in each criteria. Yeah? And you'll be able, upon completion or upon your participation in this program, you'll be able to identify your assessment or your status with regards to Industry Forward, yeah? Whether you are really ready in your digital or Industry Forward readiness, yeah? And the program will also allow you to identify the gaps and areas of improvement, as well as the feasible strategies and plans to close the gap. Yeah, Engineer Haizat, thank you once again. Yeah, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to the third session, which is becoming more interesting. Yeah, as we will be listening to our third speaker from AmBank, Yang Berusaha Mr. Christopher Yap, Managing Director of Business Banking AmBank Group. Welcome, Mr. Christopher.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
A little bit of your background, yeah, for the benefit of the audience, yeah, Mr. Christopher. Mr. Christopher holds a Bachelor of Science degree from St. Cloud State University, USA, and he brings with him more than 20 years of experience in the financial services industry with a specific focus in the SME and commercial segments. Yeah? Mr. Yap started his early career in trade services at Citibank Berhad, Malaysia. That's where he started. Yeah. Currently, Mr. Yap is in charge of AmBank's strategy development and execution to expand the group's presence and market share in the entrepreneurial and SME sector through market responsive products, business efficiency solutions, and service excellence. Yeah. And one of Mr. Yap's key initiatives to accelerate entrepreneurial development is by introducing the AmBank Biz Club platform. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, Mr. Yap? This is aimed to help grow and nurture SMEs, equipping them with the fundamentals to achieve sustained success. Yeah. So in this segment, Mr. Yap will be talking about supporting IR 4.0 and smart automation adoption by the AmBank. Yeah. So with that, please welcome Mr. Christopher Yap. Yeah. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Datin Zainon, and warm welcome and good morning. Salam Sejahtera to all the participants this morning. So what I'm going to cover today in 15 minutes or so is how AmBank is playing their role in supporting the SME smart automation and Industry 4.0 adoption grant. All right, next slide, please. A little bit of background on AmBank for those that may not be too familiar. We are a financial institution with over 40 years in business, more than 3 million customers, and we have about 9,000 people being employed in AmBank right now. At AmBank, particularly in business banking, we strive more than just becoming a bank that offers financial services or product and services. We aim to provide more than that, which I will cover in my slides later on. What is our concept beyond financing means to the businesses out there, especially SMEs. So over the last few years, after we embarked on this initiative, we actually won a few awards, accolades, being awarded the Best SME Bank in Malaysia for 3 consecutive years from Global Finance and Banking, Best SME Bank as well from another Alpha Southeast Asia, and of course the SME Bank of the Year by Asian Banking and Finance. Next slide, please. So a little bit of background on how we actually structure the business segment, especially for the SMEs. We have a segment called Retail SME, which is based at the branches, about 175 of them, that covers most of the businesses that is below 25 million in turnover. These are already at all the branches nationwide. If you are bigger than the 25 million, we are covered by enterprise banking, which is up to 50 million. And if you go even beyond 50 million, we have a segment called under commercial banking, which is up to 150 million. All these are relationship managed, and all this is how do we reach out to the businesses out there in terms of their needs and requirement, especially with financing and products and services. Next. Okay, a concept called beyond financing is something that we have embarked on close to 4 years ago. Our idea of beyond financing is that we aim to be a bank that just offer more than just product and services. We aim to offer not just loans or cash management to all of you, because we believe that every bank will be able to offer you loans and financing. But what we are really interested on is to enable how the SMEs or businesses out there be sustained in the longer term. Sustainability means not just offering solar panel financing or green loans, but we are looking at how can SMEs sustain in their businesses going forward. Especially in the COVID pandemic, we see a lot of needs to help businesses out there on how they actually thrive beyond COVID situation. If you can see the lockdown for the past few months, we have seen a lot of businesses that are impacted, and this is very timely for our beyond financing concept that we have coined about 3-4 years ago to help businesses to sustain themselves. Next. So with this, like Datin mentioned, we have embarked on a journey about 4 years ago, a strategy called AmBank Biz Club. The AmBank Biz Club is really a platform for us to help businesses to go beyond financing and just look at the other aspect of the business, like for example, how do they handle their strategy, how do they handle their HR matters, and how do they do branding, how do they do quality improvement, and how do they embark on digitalization and IR 4.0. So under AmBank Biz Race, we actually give development, we give media exposure to the businesses, and we also provide them grant guidance focusing on IR 4.0, digitalization, and the halal industry. This is the theme for the latest Biz Race, where we help businesses to embark on the IR 4.0 journey, how to transform their company into digitalization, and how to help the business to tap on the halal segment of the market. That is the main initiative, and under the Biz conference, we went around the country. For the past 3 years, we have a physical conference, but this year we have a virtual conference, a series of conferences that we actually introduce all this concept to the businesses out there, especially SMEs. And the Biz Dialogue is a smaller session where we actually focus on industry specific. For example, we have a dialogue on retail, we have dialogue on services, we have dialogue on F&B. So these are the session where we invite industry leaders that proven successful in their fields to talk to a smaller group of participants, and they can actually have more intimate session, Q&A sessions for the businesses that are out there. So over the past 3 years, we have engaged close to 11,000 businesses. We have offered them 2 million in terms of prizes for those participants that qualify and win the Biz Race. Development session for 300 SMEs, and for the past 3 years, we have close to 4,000 businesses registered for the AmBank Biz Race. And all these are funded by AmBank themselves, ourselves, and we do not have any grant from anybody. And these are our internal funds generated to help the businesses in order to sustain themselves. Next. So like I mentioned this year, our focus theme is really on Industry 4.0. How do we introduce this concept on IR 4.0 to the businesses out there, especially manufacturers? How to apply for the Industry Forward and Smart Automation Grant, which you have heard earlier by the 2 speakers. And also, how do we guide the participants to apply for the grant? For the digitalization track, we are actually helping businesses to adopt into new norm. And this is where we work with agencies like MDEC, also to offer grants to the participants. And how do we transform the company to embark on a digitalizing journey on top of their traditional brick and mortar shop? Again, very evident from the COVID situation where businesses cannot open. We see a lot of businesses now begin to show a lot of interest into transforming their company to tap the e-commerce market. More so, we also set up a platform called MBank BizHub, where customers can put their product online and they can immediately access to the customers in MBank by buying and selling from them. So again, we also help the businesses to apply for grant from MDEC under this digitalization track. Last but not least is the halal segment. A lot of misconception as well. A lot of people think that halal is only for food industries, but halal goes beyond food industries, including things like transportation, where we apply or we help businesses to apply for the halal certification from JAKIM. And this is the part that we actually work together with JAKIM to tap the halal market. So under these 3 tracks, for example, Industry 4.0, we have partnership with MIDA, MITI, digitalization, we have partnership with MDEC, and of course the halal, we have partnership with JAKIM. Next. So of course, bank is also about financing scheme, although we have a concept beyond financing. So I will just go through a bit on a very high level, what are the financing schemes available for the businesses out there and in order for them to sustain their business. Next. So of course, on a very high level, the financing schemes available, we have 4 main blocks of financing scheme. The first one on the left-hand side is the CGC Portfolio Guarantee Scheme. CGC stands for Credit Guarantee Corporation, where we offer SMEs financing without collateral. That means it's only guaranteed by CGC. It's a predefined criteria, a very short turnaround time, and this is to finance their working capital. Traditionally, amount is close to 1.5, 2 million, or even as small as 200,000, 300,000 or 500,000. So this is a guaranteed portfolio scheme that we work together with CGC. On the right side is our discretionary lending, where customers need bigger financing. These things like contract financing, bridging loan, working capital, capex, and these are discretionary lending where we lend to the customers that qualify according to a criteria and according to the project, according to the cash flow. That's on the right-hand side. On the bottom left is the government-funded scheme, where we have seen a lot of them during the last few months of the COVID, especially things like special relief funds that is rolled out by Bank Negara. It set up a minimum criteria and is very accessible, and the cost of financing is also very, very affordable. For example, the special relief funds rolled out by Bank Negara is 10 billion ringgit, and it was taken up within 3 to 6 months from rolling out. And this is really for also working capital and capital expenditure. The right bottom is the program lending. Is our internal program lending. Is also a predefined eligibility criteria. And this is rolled out without a guarantee scheme, and the financing is also for working capital as well as capex. Next. So a very high level criteria for the financing in MBank. Basically, they have to maintain in operation for at least 3 years for us to assess the company. I believe these are the same criteria that was also provided by the earlier speakers, and most of the banks also employ 3 years in business track record. We require the key person minimum age of 25 at the point of application, sales turnover of million and above, and track record and good credit track records is important because we cannot foresee the future. So what we really look at is actually the track record of the business, especially in the credit history, because in banking, credit history is important. I'm sure all the businesses out there know what is a CCRIS and CITOS. So we look at the track record in terms of CCRIS and CITOS. And of course, customers must demonstrate the acceptable financing track record to meet the financing obligations. Of course, the last but not least is the joint and several guarantee. So the loan is provided or the financing is provided then we need the guarantee to come in as a guarantor for the particular loan. So this is a very high level criteria that the bank look at before the bank approve the loan application. Next. So for the industry forward as well as the automation, there's this scheme called Automation and Digitalization Facility called ADF. And this is really to incentivize SMEs to automate their processes and digitalize their operations. Of course, as mentioned by the few speakers earlier, is really to increase their productivity and efficiency by also less dependency on foreign low-skilled worker. And this automation and digitalization facilities is for purchase of equipment, machinery, hardware, and also cover things like even software, IT solutions, and technology to support the business. The financing amount is up to 3 million and it's up to 10 years. So it's quite a long tenure financing, up to 3 years. Up to 10 years, 3 million, and interest rate is only about 4% inclusive of the guarantee fees. And this will be able to cover 80% of the amount. And this automation and digitalization facilities is available up to 30th of June 2021. Next. Another facilities is also called high-tech facilities, HTF. And this is for bigger set of company for higher level of technology. And this is really to support the high-tech sector, especially the SMEs that align for the National Investment Aspiration, NIA 4. Of course, this is to strengthen Malaysia competitiveness skills in the value chain, and again, also to promote high-skilled job and also less reliant on foreign or low-skilled workers. For CapEx financing and financing up to 1 million for working capital, as well as up to 5 million for capital expenditure or combination of both. The interest rate for this is 3.5% without a guarantee fees. That means the guarantee is not required, or 5% inclusive of guarantee fees by SJPP or CGC. And this fund is available up to 31st of December 2021. Next. On top of that, the two ADF and as well as the HTF financing, we have also 3 other similar financing. That is the left-hand side, the Penjana SME financing is really to bridge through, SMEs to bridge through the COVID situation. Collateral free, up to 500,000 of 7 years, and interest rate is 3.5%. Until the funds are exhausted. I believe that the funds is about 2 to 3 billion available for this Penjana SME financing. The middle column is the targeted relief and recovery financing by Bank Negara. It's called TRF for SMEs again, that is affected after the reintroduction of the MCO since June 2020, right, including the wholesale and retail trade. Again, the financing amount is also 500,000 and up to 75,000 for micro enterprises, and so also again 7 years. Interest rate is the same, 3.5%, and we can also provide guaranteed cover of 80%. So the funds is until 31st December, end of this year, or exhaustion of the funds, whichever is earlier. Last is our internal financing scheme, which is called our credit guarantee scheme revival, portfolio guarantee. And these are for SMEs that embark on to sustain their COVID-19 situation, and we give financing up to 1 million of 7 years. Interest rate is a BLR plus 3, and this is guaranteed by CGC, the one I mentioned earlier, up to 75% until the funds are exhausted. Right. So the first two column is the government guarantee fund by Bank Negara, and the last column is the M-Bank internal guarantee scheme for the SMEs out there. Next. Okay, so M-Bank and MIDA collaboration. Next slide, please. And of course, we have signed up with MIDA. I think M-Bank is one of the pioneer bank to offer or to work with government agencies, especially in the area of IR 4.0 and smart automation grant. So we have inked an agreement or MOU with MIDA to work together on how do we deploy the SAG, the Smart Automation Grant, to SMEs and the mid-tier companies. Right, next. So how does it work is that as part of the collaboration, all the participants in the BIS race will also go through this MIDA SAG application process under AmBank BIS race. So the process is to apply, and then once we look at the application and we see this company is qualified, we will invite them for a virtual briefing. And after a virtual briefing, we will give the participants virtual training of 3 days, which 2 days is classroom, virtual classroom, and 1 day is simulation training. Bear in mind that the application process can be actually, the participants can be handhold using this process, where we guide the participants how to apply and what are the things that you should look at for the Smart Automation Grant. After the virtual training, we will provide one-to-one session. We have a consultant that we have engaged with, and this consultant will be able to guide the participants in the virtual training as well as one-to-one session on how to apply the Smart Automation Grant with the professional advice, so that the chances of getting this grant will be quite high when you submit the application in. So of course, last but not least is the grant holding, and subject matter will be able to be given guidance on how to put in the application, what are the suitability, MIDA grants, and brief on the process and expectation, like you have mentioned, Encik Raizat that mentioned the visits and application, Sarojini has mentioned application, what are the details to put into the application. All this will be guided in this AmBank and MIDA collaboration under the umbrella of AmBank BIS race. So if you are really interested to go through this process where you need somebody to, a professional to guide you, to give you the guidance on how to apply for this grant, you can actually scan the QR code down there, and we will be in touch with you on how to go through this process together with AmBank and apply for the grant together with MIDA. Next. So a very high level on the MIDA SAG grant, AmBank will offer financing because this grant will be upon your completion of the project, right? For example, you need $1 million, right? So AmBank will fund you this amount first upon approval of the grant, and to bridge you through until you actually receive or complete the project, and then the grant will be taken out to pay off this particular financing. So the left side is the grant available, 100%, and the balance, if let's say the project is beyond 1 million, we will cover the 75% of the financing for those above $1 million ringgit. So this is a very high snapshot on how we actually help the businesses to bridge through the amount to be taken out to fund this project before the grant is dispersed after the completion of the project. Next. So again, mentioned AmBank, we aim to, or we aspire to go beyond financing. We are not just interested in dishing out loans or a deposit account to you. Our aim is to really help business to sustain, to go beyond financing, to help them look at other parts of the business sustainability, such as efficiency, human resources, branding, media exposure. So if you're really interested to join this event by applying this Smart Automation Grant, or even a digitalization grant or the halal segment, please reach out to us, and you can send us an email under businessbanking@ambankgroup.com, and we will have personnel to reach out to you on to how do we facilitate the application process and through the AmBank BIS race umbrella. So that is the very high level presentation that I have, because every businesses is different. We believe that once you get in touch with us, we will have people talking to you individually to guide you through the journey on your respective business, be it tourism, be it manufacturing, be it services, right? So thank you very much. I hope that you guys will participate in this program, partner with MIDA. And it's really to move our country or the industries to go beyond just relying on low-skilled foreign workers and increase the productivity. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure I got what you meant.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Yeah, thank you for the elaboration on the financing available at MBank Group. Yeah, I really like your tagline. Yeah, beyond financing. It really shows how MBank strive to be more than just a bank, but actually going beyond that to enable our businesses. How they can sustain their business in the long run. I really appreciate your sharing in this regard. Yeah. So once again, thank you, Mr. Ya. Okay. Hope to see you again later next time. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we have our fourth speaker of the day, technologist professional, Ms. Zainab Ahmad. Yeah. Assalamualaikum and welcome, Ms. Zainab.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Before I hand over the session to you, I would like to share a little bit about yourselves with the audience. Yeah. Zainab, is that okay with you? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Ms. Zainab is currently the Director General, Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education, or in short, DPCCE, Ministry of Higher Education, Malaysia. Ms. Zainab's responsibilities include overseeing the development and implementation of TVET policy through local and international partnerships, supervising human resource and students' excellence, managing the development and implementation of full-time and lifelong learning curricula, examination and assessment, instructional and digital learning, research and innovation, and monitoring the governance, operation, and excellence of polytechnics and community colleges in Malaysia. Yeah? For information, DPCCE is the biggest TVET provider in Malaysia. And it is a public and private institutions with 36 polytechnics and 104 community colleges nationwide. Yeah, I will have to skip some of your illustrious background. Yeah, Ms. Zainab, really interesting experience you have here. Ms. Zainab holds a degree in electronics and electrical engineering from Loughborough. Okay, this is Loughborough University. Is that right? Yeah. Hopefully it's correct. Yeah? United Kingdom. A master's in power engineering from Putra University, Malaysia, and a postgraduate diploma in psychology counseling from National University of Malaysia. Wow. Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now call upon Ms. Zainab with a presentation on TVET Collaboration Hub, and we would like to listen how the college or the university is preparing the workforce of their future with the skills required by the industry. With that, please, Ms. Zainab, the session is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Madam Moderator, Datin Zainon Bakar, esteemed panelists from MIDA, CRIM, MBank, and attentive webinar participants. So first and foremost, I would like to say a big thank you to MIDA for inviting me to your very first domestic investment seminar for this year. I'm pleased to share actually some of the latest development we have from the TVET sector. Can I have the next slide? Or is it the first slide? Okay, hang on. Okay. Can we have the first slide? Okay. It's slides. All right. Okay. I'm sharing with you the contents of my presentation. I will start with a bit of a background on our department, just so you get familiarized with what we do. And I'll touch base with what Maida shares with us on our program mapping. And I would like to introduce to everyone the establishment of our National TVET Council, or MTVET for short. And we would like to introduce one of our key initiatives. That's the title of my presentation, which is TVET Collaboration Hub, and what potentials we have for collaboration with industries and as well as TVET partners. And I'll share some good examples so that we can work on that. Okay, next slide, please. All right. First, allow me to give a snapshot of my organization. Just like Datin mentioned just now, we are of the strength of 36 polytechnics and 104 community colleges. My staff currently is more than 14,000. Our lecturers is about 10,000, and the rest are the supporting staff. And as far as enrollment is concerned, combination of polytechnic and community colleges, we are roughly 102,000. And we have more than 157 programs between polytechnics and community colleges, from skills certificates to diploma, and we have a few degree programs. As far as our graduate employability is concerned, the data for last year, the polytechnics graduates, we hit the figure of 91.4%, which is very high, but a bit more higher than that for the community colleges, 94.3% graduate employability, which is actually because of the COVID-19, we dropped about 5%. We normally hit more than 96%. So safe to say that our graduates are highly employed in the industry, and we would like to maintain that. We also take pride in securing accreditation. We have a strong accreditation program under the Engineering Technology Accreditation Council. We have 133 programs there. Also, another strong partner is with the Malaysian Qualification Agency. 452 of our programs are accredited through MQA. Next slide, please. Okay, as a TVET organization, we are at the forefront of teaching and learning for 4IR and digitalization, and we have the same aspiration as Maida and all of you participants. Okay, we have a tagline, positioning 4IR. We started a few years ago, and we know that we should incrementally introduce the components of digitalization into our curriculum, into our teaching and learning, and finally into our assessment. So we are very much aware the importance of leveling up our programs to catch up with the speed of technology advancement in the world currently today. So moving from analog to digital is actually only the beginning for us, and taking it into totality, the migration to full implementation requires a few stages, as I show in this slide. Yeah? So in our TVET organizations, you know, some institutions, they are ahead than others in the adoption, but some, they still prefer to use the traditional method of hands-on and psychomotor. So we have a big blend of from the lowest level of certificate until the degree level. Yeah? So the impact, we understand the impact of digitalization is most prominent in these 5 areas that I'm mentioning at the lower part of the slide, in the manufacturing, in the healthcare, in the financial services, public safety, energy, and utilities. Can I have the next slide? Okay. We did some homework. So as far as our homework is concerned, we checked and we mapped our programs to MIDA priority areas, and we found 14 of our areas to match with you, with 31 programs or more, and we have about 34 industry-driven courses in between all these programs. And all these programs are run full-time in our polytechnics and community colleges. Vis-a-vis, different polytechnic has a different niche area, but of course you can check on the website to find out more. So next slide, please. What I'm excited to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, is about our National TVET Council. So let me start by giving you a bit of the background on the establishment. Actually, last 2 weeks, the cabinet had a meeting, the very first meeting, and this is the launching of our National TVET Council. So chairing the meeting was our Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, and our Minister Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Norani Ahmad. She is the Secretariat. We are with the Secretariat, Ministry of Higher Education. So what we intend to do is actually coordinate between all the TVET institutions in all the ministries and agencies. So it's a very tall task. We're given this task and we intend to commit to do it. So it's about studying the ecosystem and then ensuring the national agenda for our economic growth and productivity will be hand in hand with the TVET advancement. Okay. So in attendance, ladies and gentlemen, we had the commitment of 13 cabinet ministers. So they will be commit with us for the direction, for the mandate at their various capacities. So we also have 2 distinguished representatives from industries and also 2 academicians to support us and giving all the academic inputs. So to facilitate this, we hope to trickle down, and one of the mission of my presentation today is to engage you, ladies and gentlemen. So supporting the National TVET Council, we have 2 lower level committees, which we call the Executive Committee, which will be chaired by the Minister of Higher Education, co-chair with the Minister of Human Resource. Then we have a lower level than that, the TVET focus group consisting of 5 groups who will be tasked producing the papers and churning out the ideas and so on. Next slide, please. So what is, furthermore, what is MTVET or the National Council on TVET? So it is actually the highest decision-making body for the country. Anything related to TVET, this is the highest decision body because it's being chaired by the PM. So it has the mandate to improve the coordination of TVET ecosystem across all ministries and agencies, be it private and especially the public. It is also a platform for the government to empower TVET in developing the much needed skilled manpower for the country. So next slide. So why do we need TVET? So TVET's aspirations are basically 4 main aspirations. First, for the country. So for the country, we will obtain the suitable TVET manpower to drive the technology behind the economic development and productivity of the country. And secondly, for our industries, you will be supplied with the certified competent workers to meet your requirement for the respective economic sector that you are driving. And for the TVET graduates, they will be gainfully employed, obtaining commensurable income with respect to their qualification. So upon getting qualification, if they need and they want to further study, they will also receive equal access and opportunity when applying to further study. Last but not least, all the TVET providers, they have to level up to the TVET industry expectation. Hence, the government will give them fair consideration in budget allocation, be it private, be it public, to produce the right quantity and the right quality of graduates that the country needs. Slide next, thank you. Permit me to share with you the landscape about who the TVET providers we have in the country. So for some of you, you might be surprised, but for many of you, I think it's no big news, because in totality, we have 11 ministries providing TVET programs of all sorts, which consists of 640 public TVET institutions, 22 state government TVET institutions, and 633 private TVET institutions. In totality, we have 1,295 TVET institutions. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is the time we need to take stock, to improve our coordination, and to look back upon what is necessary to do for the TVET. So this is a very big task, and we reach out to you. So the first meeting that we had with Prime Minister, it was a mandate meeting. We presented 2 papers. So the first paper is about the mandate. The second paper is about what is the TVET employment agenda that we have in line and we would like to execute. Next slide. So these are the 3 TVET strategic trusts that we have. So the first one, of course, I talked about integration. So we are going to have an integrated and coordinated governance across all ministries, cross-cutting all agencies. Then the second strategic trust, industry-driven TVET. It's no more working in silo. We have to work with what the industry demand. So the industry must come first in most of our decision making. And the third strategic trust is TVET shaping the future. So things like we are talking about 4IR, digitalization, and how TVET should level themselves up, this will be put into the final trust. Along with the trust, we have 6 key initiatives. So the first one is formulating a sustainable financial model. Taking stock of everyone and all the TVET providers, we will, maybe it's a long-term project, but we will come up with a financial model that is sustainable to everyone. Along with that, our second initiative is to develop policies to encourage more industry participation, to facilitate industries to be along with us. The third one is creating the national TVET branding plan. We have already the framework, but we want to execute it better because TVET should no more be a second choice. We've been saying that TVET should be streamlined and should be mainstream. The fourth is the topic of today's presentation to you is establishing the TVET Collaboration Hub. The fifth key initiative is we will come up with TVET program policies. And of course, everybody talks about data, everybody talks about sharing data. So TVET family will have a TVET big data plan. So strategic collaboration across ministries is a must. It should be and will be supported by industry implementation, and it will be implemented continuously to ensure that all our educational institutions will be able to plan well, to train students with the knowledge and the skills that meets the industry demand. So next, I would like to delve more into the TVET Collaboration Hub. Next, please. Okay. So I'm sharing with you the ideas that we have on this TVET Collaboration Hub. Its concept and some of these basic principles, the key areas, and what we are hoping that we are welcoming strategic partners to work with us. So the list that we have is non-exhaustive. That's why we are engaging with you this morning. So what is the TVET Collaboration Hub? The key principles are roughly 6 of them here. First, this hub must be industry driven and it must ensure that it is responsive to the economic demands of the country. The second is this hub is in preparation for a highly skilled workforce. The third, The collaboration must be cross-cutting across all ministries and agencies, encompassing the public, the private, and also the state-run institutions. The fourth, we will leverage on digital technologies and social media to engage more, to cover more. And the fifth, we will get supportive governance policies and procedures because we will link directly to PM and the National TVET Council. So last but not least, empowering lifelong learning. We know that for some TVET people or many TVET people, they would like to go in between working and learning and then going back to working. So the element of lifelong learning must be very facilitative for them. Okay. So we will also select as the hub high-performing TVET institutions which are renowned and have good collaboration as the hub, as the main hub. And they must have the center of excellence, and they must also hub and spoke. So they must have downlines, or they must have smaller TVET institutions that will be their spoke and their link to all the localized regions with the respective skill sector specialties. So these, of course, we need a lot of engagement. We know some who are good, but we want to engage to ascertain that decision-making that we are making is the right one, and we have chosen the right one. So the intended outcome is for us to work together, no more working in silo. And we must achieve to improve the standards of our student to attain the quality that's needed, and also to share our resources, be it knowledge, be it skills, be it facilities. Maybe our lecturers have resources that we can share. And we must also share our industry connections. And in addition, our industry partners of our industry players, they can be engaged at any time and they can be focused on what they want and they can do it in a localized manner. So we also want to trickle down to all the SMEs that we have in the villages, in the kampong, in the small towns. Next slide, please. So our potential collaboration, so what is it that we would like to do? Is these are just throwing to you some of the initiatives that we have. For you to be with us, for the industry to be with us, we like them to come on board, meet us halfway. Maybe some local industries, they would like to supply us with some machinery so that our students can practice and work on the machinery, meet us halfway on closing the gap. And our TVET students can be placed and work on specialized equipment that you have so that then they can be your workers. They can come in at off-peak hours, work with you on your premises, and later on maybe become their very strong and very good workers. And we will also like our industry practitioners to teach our TVET students to come to our institution to share your modules and maybe become as a visiting instructor of a lecturer. And we will also like you to give us feedback and inputs. We have already some curriculum. Like I mentioned earlier, they're already MQA accredited or ETAC accredited, but that does not mean that we don't need improvement. We need to improve on our curriculum. Please tell us, please share with us where we're not doing right, where we should level up our skills and our content. And we also like if you can offer our students apprenticeship placement positions and also maybe graduate employment positions upon finishing their program with us. So industry players can offer our TVET instructors placements. We already have some industry placements, but please open up more. And we will also like you to give us feedback. Please come to our, if you have a career fair, or maybe upon completing the apprenticeship program, the industry partners will be informing us what went wrong? How did we not get it right? Or what are the things that we need to do? So this list is non-exhaustive. We would like to build up from it, sharing it with you. Next slide, please. So what we are talking about is actually, to start off, we have some potential TVET hubs. I'm sharing with you what I have under my umbrella, and a few that I know is already strong and going on. For example, in our Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah in Shah Alam, or PSA, we are strong on medical electronics. I think our esteemed panelists from CIRIM can attest to that. We are strong on medical electronics. We have a collaboration center there. And we know that EdTech Shah Alam, they are good on automotive. Yeah. And if you go down south, for example, we have embarked on a collaboration with MDEC. We have in Polytechnic Mersing, cybersecurity program. We know that our students get very good income, and many of them do cross over the causeway to join a better income in Singapore. And we are also strong on electrical vehicle maintenance, hybrid servicing in College Community Kepala Batas. And we know in Pengerang, we have good relationship for oil and gas with the partner in Pengerang. And also we have one college dedicated for oil and gas in the southern part. So these are some of our potential TVET hubs, but we want to engage with more. And we hope, ladies and gentlemen, will be joining us for this journey to get more TVET hubs to cooperate with us. Also, we will be contacting the regional and investment authorities according to the economic sector, for example, in IRDA and NCIA, and of course with MIDA. We want to work with you to ascertain what are the specific human capital requirements that you need for the region. And please provide us this information. From today on, our doors will be open to you. And last but not least, we hope by developing the collaboration hub, we will come up with the bigger TVET ecosystem. So this is just one of the initiatives we'll be plugging into the whole of TVET ecosystem for the country. So please do not hesitate to engage with us on this journey to make TVET the preferred choice for students. And after that, they will be gainfully employed in their career. So we can be reached, ladies and gentlemen, at our secretariat. So our secretariat is Secretariat MTVET, Bahagian Kolaborasi TVET, Jabatan Pendidikan Politeknik and College Community, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi. So in fact, if you connect with our Bahagian Kolaborasi Industry, that'll be fine too, because we are under one department and we are the secretariat supporting TVET basically for our ministry, and as a nation, we are the secretariat for the Majlis TVET Negara, or the National TVET Council. On that note, I rest my case. I hand over to you, Datin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Aina. Okay, congratulations is in order. Thank you for the setting up of the National TVET Council, Ms. Aina. And I sincerely believe under your leadership, the MTVET aspiration will be realized. Yeah? I hope our businesses out there will come forward to collaborate with DPCCE, and so that we can have the triple helix effect. The collaboration between university, industry, and government will be accelerated. Yeah? Thank you very much once again, Zaina. Okay. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, that with the presentation from Ms. Zaina, it wraps up our webinar for today. Webinars brought to you by MIDA. Yeah, I hope everybody, the audience that still with us today, really have benefited from the session with all the sharings from all the 4 speakers. Yeah, indeed, they have shared at length the details, especially from MIDA with regards to the incentives available, the 4 incentives under MIDA, the eligibility criteria, the do's and don'ts, and the processes, how to go about applying for the incentives. And with Engineer Rohaizat, the second speaker, we have listened how the readiness assessment is conducted. It is a comprehensive program to help firms assess their capabilities and readiness to adopt Industry 4.0 technologies and processes, focusing on people, process, and technology. While Mr. Yap of MBank elaborated on the financing schemes available, not only the existing ones, but also the available financing to assist those affected severely by the COVID-19 under the Bencana or the Targeted Relief and Refinancing, as well as the CGC Revival PG scheme. And last but not least, again, Ms. Zainab from DPCCE have shared with us the model, the collaboration hub, and what they have. They are welcoming businesses to be on board with them to prepare our human capital, so that we'll have the talent available as required by the industry. Offering a complete TVET ecosystem for the economy under the National TVET Council. Okay, I hope you have really enjoyed the session today. Thank you for staying again with us. I think we have actually we have been on air for already 2 hours, and now we have come to the Q&A session. I have one question from the Deputy CEO of MIDA, Mr. Ahmad Khairuddin. This question is actually directed to Ms. Zainab, the Director General of DPCCE. Zainab, if I may read out the question here. What is the difference? What is the difference between digitalization and digital and digitalization? Digitization and digitalization. The two words, digitization and digitalization. If you please share with us, Ms. Zainab. Thank you.
Yeah, give me a few minutes, but I have to refer. You see, I have to refer to my
okay, sure, please.
Yeah, yes. I know converting from analog to digital, because the time when I was teaching, it was mostly analog. Yeah. Okay. Because you want to go very specific, right? Because you want to go very specific with the terminology and the definition. Yes. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. If you're talking about digitization, is the conversion from analog to digital. Okay. If you're talking about digitalization, it's a process. So it's the process of converting everything to digital. I think so. Yeah. Is that okay?
Example, give example.
I'm no more teaching, but okay. Yeah, you're putting me on a spot here, because I'm no more teaching. I just need the macro planning of things. But I know that we are what. Okay, let me give an example of what we do in our polytechnics. Okay, we have a project in Polytechnic Sultan Azlan Shah in Tanjung Malim. Everybody knows that the cars are going autonomous, right? So the cars are going autonomous. So definitely at the start of it, we must look into our system, the analog system, how can we migrate them to be digitized? And then we have to look for the whole system, that how can we change certain mechanical operations. It can be remotely controlled, plus using the AI, the predictive part and the automation part. So the bigger system, if you do it from end to end, that is the process of digitalization, as I understand it from when I started learning electrical and electronics. I hope that suffices for.
Yeah, excellent. That's excellent. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, give me an easier question.
I saw that in your slide.
Oh, good. Oh, you're sharp.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Ms. Zainab. I think for me, when I look at digital and digitalization, what I know is looking at the clock, at the watch, dulu, you have, the clock or the watch, with that minutes and seconds arm, and now you just have the, the numbers displayed on the on your the face of your watch, to me that is already that is digitization. Digitalization is actually the transformation. To me, I hope it's a transformation, the convergence of all the technologies, talking to each other, and all the machines, all not just working by itself, but it's all integrated, and they're able to talk to each other. It's a seamless technology where they can work together, so that it is more effective and efficient for the organization or the company, to operate. So that is my understanding of digitalization.
Excellent, Natin. Can I just share with you, actually, we humans, we are analog. So, but humans are very creative. We want to do things to go our way. So we are analog, and we're converting everything from analog originally to digital, and they will be doing the digital back to analog. So this conversion is analog to digital, digital to analog. This is what we're doing. And then we are so advanced that we want other things to be humanized too. So then comes the robot and the whatnots, but actually it's about humans fitting things so that they can live a better life. They can live, basically making ourselves better. But of course, in between, we have to come up and meet up with all the challenges.
Right.
So, Mr. Ahmad.
Thank you.
So thank you. I've seen quite a number of questions on the chat box here, in the Q&A chat box, but I believe most of the questions, and I think it can be, you can find the answers to most of the questions from the website of MIDA or the respective websites of the speakers. So because we have already been on air for almost 2 hours, and I really appreciate the presence of our audience who have been with us for the 2 hours period. I really appreciate your strong support, because I think the topic covered today is really like, from the funds, the financing, it's as mentioned earlier, the whole spectrum and the whole ecosystem required to transform the business is presented in this session today. I really congratulate MIDA for organizing this webinar today. Thank you very much. I think we have to somehow end our session. In this regard, I would like to once again thank you, MIDA, especially Mr. Ahmad Khairuddin, Deputy CEO2 of MIDA, our learned speakers, Ms. Sarojini Ganesan, Deputy Director, Advanced Technology and Research and Development Division, also from MIDA, Yang Berusaha Tuan Engineer Rohaizat Omar, Head Sirim Industrial Research at Sirim Berhad, Yang Berusaha Mr. Christopher Yap, Managing Director of Business and Bank Group, Business Banking of M-Bank Group. And last but not least, again, Yang Berusaha Technology Professional, Ms. Zainab Ahmad, Director General, Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education, or DPCCE. Thank you for all your wonderful sharing and insightful information. A big thank you to all our audience for your full attention and support in our webinar today. Continue to join MIDA's webinar series to keep you updated with the latest development and what they have to offer, especially during this period where we need to really start or reset our businesses post COVID-19. With that, I would like to once again thank you everyone, and Assalamualaikum and have a very good afternoon. Stay safe, stay productive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I may have all the speakers to put on your video. Mr. Yap. Mr. Yap.
Okay. Thank you, Datin.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. And can I just say, Cik Ahmad Herudin, I think you know somebody that I know. We are not on air anymore, right? Cik Ahmad Herudin. You know Siti Mariam, right? You know a lady called Siti Mariam, right?
Familiar.
Yeah. Well, somebody told she told me you're her colleague back in UiTM. Puan Siti Mariam. Never mind. She will touch base with you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. All right. Yeah, now I remember. Barulah. Okay. Dah tua, lupa.
Dah tua. Kita sebaya.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay. We should meet up one day lah. We need to know more about you punya today punya presentation. Very good lah. Kau boleh share dengan Maida tak that one slide tu?
Boleh. I thought we've shared, no?
Okay.
Nanti kita ada STF lah, apalah, all that. We will work closer. And memang kita come over. Please come over. There are a lot of things yang kita nak share dengan you all.
Okay, lovely. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Kena tunggu lepas COVID, Puan.
Yeah, right.
Baru boleh come over.
Oh, nak face to face ya?
After 4th March lah.
Ya, boleh insyaAllah.
Right.
Okay, apparently Mr. Yap probably have left the session because he's not on, his video is not on yet.
Dia kata dia ambil gambar dah, dah sudah.
Sempat tadi.
So yeah.
Okay. Boleh end the session lah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you everyone.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Salam.
Okay, do you get the question lah apa tu dah? Dapat dah? Okay, right. Thank you, Muri. Dah. Ni. Kawal, udah pergi sana. Muri, you all. Okay, sign. Nanti sekejap lagi saya naik, saya sign. Terima kasih semua. Alhamdulillah, jatuh.